Welcome to the 7th episode of the Titans Talk 615 podcast. My name is Jax Weber. I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Folks, rough game last night, 29-7. Got to break a lot of it down. There's some highs, but there's a lot of lows last night, which you got to talk about. A lot of depth issues, injury problems, but not one problem was Mr. Cameron Ward and Calvin Ridley, which we'll talk about just in a minute. Welcome into the 7th episode of the Titans Talk 615 podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all can like, subscribe, share, people, let me know. I appreciate you guys if you guys do that. But we got to break down this game. This game was a lot of ugly. It was so much ugly in this game. And this was a game that for the first preseason game, two series for the offense on starters, one for defense. The starters looked great. Don't get me wrong. I just think the rest of the backups looked kind of sloppy. We'll talk about in a minute. So I do want to take down some transactions before I do anything as well, because the Tennessee Titans made a couple moves this week, and they brought back former friend Quandre Diggs, who did miss last year due to a left foot fracture. So glad to have him back on the team to pair with his cousin Cam Ward. Also, he has a lot of friends in this team from last year. Tyler Lockett reunited with him, one of his best friends as well. So he got signed, and Joshua Bledsoe from New England also got signed as well. And Titus Leo and Mark Perry got waived. Also, Chandler Brewer is going to place on injured reserve, and Joe Gazno will be signed as a DN to be on the roster and maybe compete for a spot. So as roster updates as of right now at the moment, as I'm trying to film this, Callahan's about to speak in a couple minutes to media reports. So we'll see if he gives an update to Spears. What we have last night, Spears walked out with a boot on his ankle, which we'll talk about in a minute. Not too really great about that. But let's talk about some positives before I get into some lows. This show's going to be a lot about lows and not too many positives. So I think the winner was Cam Ward's debut. He started off slow, right? He went 3-and-out on his first drive. I think second drive, the offense got more momentum. The O-line also, which we'll talk about in a minute, looked fantastic. Gave him a lot of time, gave him a lot of protection on the O-line. And Cam Ward made a lot of use out of that. And that's why he connected Calvin Ridley. 3 out of 5 passes for 50 yards for Calvin Ridley. And there's a play where Cam was trying to throw it to Tyler Lockett, and Ridley made a pass interference, right? But what Cam and Ridley what they did is they put their heads down, and Calvin Ridley got another catch, and they made the mark. They got really close to the first down. Next play, they got the first down. So just seeing that resilience where they got back right into it, right back into the groove, you like to see that in the preseason going on to the regular season. So that's good connection right there. He had 14 snaps last night. He had 11 plays for 65 yards down the field. Tony Pollard got the touchdown. So, and of course, Cam Ward did the Cam Ward celebration. Just that was also something I do want to bring up as well. So at the end, I think Cam Ward was also one of the winners. Like I told you, winner Ridley and Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward connection. I do want to talk about the defense because somebody who was a winner here before I get back into offense was James Williams. Obviously, Orgy, who got hurt, is done for the year. That's heartbreaking. And we tore his ACL. He was competing for the second linebacker spot. He's done. He won't be back for the year. Tough. That is very, very unfortunate. And I'm praying up for him, all the Titans fans. We don't know what happened in practice. Paul Carsey said last night that he tore it in practice. He was not out there last night, obviously. And he will miss the rest of the season. Vanderbilt product. So, again, James Williams is now in the line to get the linebacker number 2 spot, and we saw him everywhere last night. Williams is a guy who's a really athletic guy, flashy, heck of a dude. He's everywhere, every play. That's where Williams is. So good to see that from James Williams. And now he is a huge surprise from safety to linebacker, and I think he's going to get that second linebacker spot this season. I think the backup quarterback. Look, if Cam Ward goes down this season, we need to have a decent backup. I understand why Cam Ward took a seat early because the turf in Tampa was so bad. And if you want to check it out, Teron Davenport posted it on X. They put the turf down, or the grass down, the day before the game, and it not set right, and it was risen up, so it looked like crap. It was totally uneven on the sides, and that's ugly. So, first of all, Brandon Allen came in after Cam with those 2 series. And Brandon Allen was 6 for 12. Looked awful. Right? I mean, his arm talent looked weak. Um, and he threw an interception. So, can things get worse? No. They actually can't get worse. Tim Boyle came in 4 for 13, 24 yards, 2 interceptions, a 0.6 weight or rating. That's fantastic. So, yeah, Boyle looked horrible too. The backup quarterback situation looked bad. And now that's the next question. Who do you call? Who do you look at? Carson Wentz? Tannehill? There's some guys out there. So it'll be interesting to see if the Tennessee Titans this week or next week, if they look into that and decide maybe we do need a backup quarterback situation. So if I know anything, if I hear, hey, we signed Tannehill or something, heck yeah, I'm going to post on the podcast. But as of right now, I've not heard anything about that. Backup defense. Also, again, the depth, horrible. 348 yards. Total offense from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. And I'm looking at it now, but the Bucs, just the run defense, the running was incredible. And Owen Wright, had 4.8 average yards, 15 long. He got a touchdown. And Sean Tucker, this guy also with 50 yards on the ground with the touchdown. Run defense, it's definitely gotta wake up. Wake up. So, yeah, that's very unfortunate from the Tennessee Titans backup defense. So, Titan starters, you guys stay healthy. It's please, we're all praying for you to stay healthy. And last night did not look great. Before I get anything, Tyjae Spears, man, this was unfortunate. Tyjae Spears last night, who left the game early, he has an ankle injury. Okay, Tron Davenport reported last night on X that Tyjae Spears has a apparent ankle injury, and he looks like to be missing some time. Do we know how much time that is? No. It's high ankle sprain, could be 6 to 8 weeks. That's initially reported right now. We don't know how long he could be out. Could be 4 to 6 weeks, could be 16 weeks. But that's what we have to hope. For now, we'll see what Callahan says in the post or whenever he talks next. I think he's talking right now, actually, time I'm filming right now. So Callahan's currently speaking with the media. And unfortunately for the Tennessee Titans, that's a huge blow. And we have to see what happens. And also, another playing positive, Khalil Mullings and Julius Chestnut's stock just rose because if Spears is going to miss the first weeks of the season, who's going to take that backup role? So it could be Spear, it could be Mullings, it could be Julius Chestnut. So I think both of those guys played great last night. I like I saw from both of those physical running backs. Jordan Mims got some in there as well. Saw him on some flashy plays, but we have to see. It's day to day right now. We'll see on Tuesday when Callahan comes back to camp, but just prayers for Tyjae Spears and praying and Tyjae Spears will be okay. All right, y'all. So Brian Callahan was just talking to the media and said some injury updates. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Some snaps as well. We're going to talk about some scheduling as well. So the scheduling for right now for the Tennessee Titans. So they're having meetings tomorrow and a workout. They have practice at Atlanta on Tuesday and Wednesday. So both days we'll get a lot of coverage, hopefully media from the Tennessee Titans. Thursday they have another meetings and walkthroughs. And Friday's the preseason game. And Saturday travel back to Nashville. So we'll have an update on that. For me at the end of the episode as well. So that's something to keep in mind of. So right now, as we got an update from Tyjae Spears from Brian Callahan, Tyjae Spears will be missing some time with the ankle injury per source. He is going to be done with preseason. We could see if he returns for the regular season. Hopefully, he will be back by week number 1. As of right now, too early to call. So we'll kind of see about that. Look, Cushenberry hopefully could return to practice this week. Some capacity, Brian Callahan did say. They're also optimistic about him starting in the regular season per source. They do not want to give a timeline yet, but they're optimistic about getting him back soon. They're also more optimistic about him, Cushenberry, coming back than L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed's working, He's getting better, but we don't have an update. It's, again, he's getting better, but what's going on? We don't have an update. That is concerning. For the star corner, no update. Not really, just getting better. It's August 10th. And that's something that's a guy keep an eye on. So, and then Tavondre Sweat got his tonsils removed. So he'll be back in a few days. Hopefully, maybe a few days he'll be back in there. But as of right now, Javondre Sweat is still sidelined. So I did say this earlier. Anthony Orji tore his ACL. He is done. He will be done for the season. Big blow. Huge blow. That is unfortunate. Like I told you guys, he's competing for the second linebacker spot. Now it'll be Cedric Gray and it'll also be James Williams competing for that. So both of those guys have a chance for the running for the linebacker 2 spot. Let's talk about some quality snaps. Not going to talk about everything. Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen both with 21 snaps each on the quarterback position. Running back, it was mostly Julius Chestnut who led the way with 13, Pollard with 11, and Khalil Mullings with 9. So Khalil Mullings and Chestnut are going to get a lot of playing time now in this, and especially in the preseason, especially Tyjae Spears is down. So we're going to see who gets that third running back spot. It is going to be determined. And then we'll see if both of those guys could make the roster. If it's too close to call and Spears isn't ready week number 1, they could have both of those guys on the roster by week number 1. It's TBD at this point. Tight ends, it was mostly Gunnar Helm who led the night with 19 snaps, DMR with 15. So those guys are in the running to be on the roster as well with Chig. So Chig's probably going to be the number 1 and be Gunnar Helm and DMR. Eric Almondor and Seymour DK both led snaps last night in the receiver position. And Bryce Oliver also had 17 snaps on offense. So look, on these guys, talk about in a minute. These receivers, this room is crowded, and we got to talk about that in just a minute. Defense, I'm going to talk about inside linebacker first. Cedric Gray led the snaps with 43. James Williams had 40. So those guys can be right around each other, and it could be too close to call. I think James Williams will win it, but I think we'll see Cedric Gray more as we head into the regular season. Jane Harrell had 34 snaps as well. Harrell left the game for a minute with a hand injury. Came back and he looked fine. So also Femi Oladejo had 20 snaps last night. Again, the problem with the Titans defense is no pressure. We have to kind of see about that, how they're going to turn that around, because someone needs to turn that around. So it'll be interesting to see how the Titans do that. So again, that is all I have from Titans reports. Do want to talk about the receivers for the end of the episode. Do want to talk about the update that I do want to give you guys. Receiver room, it is crowded. And like I told you guys before, there's a lot of guys in this room. I have 7 guys who are going to make the roster, okay? I think 7. I'm making my 53-man as we speak. I got 7 guys right now. I think Ridley, Lockett, Van Jefferson, Eric Almondor, Seymour DK, Bryce Oliver, and James Prochet. So, again, no Xavier Restrepo, which hurts because I know a lot of you guys want Restrepo to make the team and make the 53. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think he's ready for that spot. I mean, I'm sure everyone, I know he's earned it. I just don't think right now the Tennessee Titans, it's so crowded in that room, it's not ready yet. So, again, I think James Prochet makes it. I think he's had a better camp so far than Restrepo. Restrepo has not really played with number 1s or number 2s efficiently. So we'll kind of see where it heads now for the next couple weeks of camp, but I won't be surprised if Restrepo does not make the roster. I know a lot of you guys want him to, but I just don't think I don't think he will. But anyway, let's see if the Titans this week do add a backup quarterback. Do they add anything on the roster? We'll see what happens with Tim Boyle. If anything does happen, we need to correct a lot of things this week. And I know Callahan needs to correct a lot as well. So, again, something to keep in mind of. So, the game's on Friday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a podcast on Saturday. So, instead of Friday, which the game was on Saturday, so instead of having a podcast on Sunday, I'm going to have my podcast on Saturday. So, stay tuned to that. Saturday is going to be the day I have my podcast out. It is likely to be the same time as at the moment. I'm keeping it probably noon on Saturday. I'll definitely post an update on my YouTube, Instagram, X, everything like that. So 7 p.m. is the game time. 7 p.m., 6 p.m. is going to be the game time on Friday. next week was Minnesota. 2 weeks from now is Minnesota game time at 7. So keep that in mind, y'all. I'm going to definitely make some changes. So I think for the next 2 games, we're going to have episodes on Saturday instead of Sunday. So keep that in mind. So definitely do want to tell you all about that. But that's it from me on this episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for recapping the game with me. I know it's a frustrating week. Definitely anything this week against Atlanta. If we have any news or anything beforehand, I'll post a video on YouTube. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. See y'all next week. Sign up.